We are back. Make no mistake about it. Two o'clock here, guys. So this is your FOMC release. I see the news, no rate change. So the question is going to be, does the market like that? We are back. Welcome to the afternoon session with D-Money. Lower highs, lower lows, yeah. What Powell says at 2:30, yeah, we're gonna check that out at 2:30, guys. Make no mistake about it. We're gonna tune into the press conference. So right now we're having a reaction off of 27,218. Let me grab the door really quick, guys. Got a delivery. 1 second. All right, so yeah, I just adjusted it, guys. All right, so how's the audio? How's the music now? How's the volume sounding, chat? For the audio. D-Money hit the snacks. No, I didn't get a chance. Ginger said the volume is good. Somebody said they can't hear anything. What? Well, we're gonna find out, don't you worry. Yeah, you definitely can hear it. Just tuned in myself, guys, on my phone, so you got audio there. We're rocking and we're rolling. It's time to get the party started. FOMC, why not? Got a rejection here off of 27,218, chat. Got about 50 seconds left on the current 5-minute candle. Let's see how this candle closes out. Not gonna lie, guys. You got Denny. Denny shot me a text, a video of the new card that he may be getting. This guy's a baller, guys. You gotta shout out to Denny. Shout out to Denny. Jerome Power Top. Yeah, 2:30. We're gonna tune in, chat. Because a lot of times, obviously, we're getting some bearish momentum stepping into the market, but a lot of times what he says or does not say also has an impact clearly. So right now you're looking to see if we can stay back below the 14 EMA 27,020, chat. For more downside towards 149. So far the rejection is looking promising here. Right, so now, okay, you got a top wick. So if we lose 194, is there more 195? Is there more momentum to the downside here? That's the question. Right, targeting 27,124. We're gonna find out. Or is it going to be one of those deals where we get some whipsaw? So got to be careful, chat. No need to rush. Need to be smart. It's only 206. No rate change. But I do feel if we lose 196, look out to the downside. For some shorts here, guys. Might have to be quick on the trigger as well because you know, there's a lot of momentum in the market. Pretty bearish candle that just closed out, 5-minute chart. But keep in mind, like I said, yeah, look at the whipsaw. Be careful here, chat. Be smart, be patient. Jerome Diddy. Somebody said Jerome Diddy. So a bit of a whipsaw price action here. Just, you know, can be expected. You got no rate change. A lot of volatility in the market. All right, there it is, guys. There's the flush McGush. There it is. Man, oh man. There's the flush McGush. There is the flush McGush, guys. Rejection off of the 50 EMA, 27,266. You're looking at 154 or lower here, chat, to the downside. Price at the moment, the market is not liking the no rate change. Make no mistake about it. So you're targeting this area. Got to be quick to the, got to be a little quick on the trigger, but there's the downside momentum there, kind of stepping in. You're looking for 27,000, possibly 27,150 area. Somebody said shorts all day long. Well, right now, because they're not liking the news, keep in mind, though, it could change as we get closer to 230. So, but right now, there is downside momentum in the market. So you're targeting this box, guys, I got mapped out. To the 150 area, possibly or lower. You got 20 seconds left, current 5-minute candle. You can see the 15-minute candle is really heavy, chat. You got 5 minutes left on that candle. So 27,124. That is the opening range candles low from this morning. We're very familiar with that range, so just be mindful that you could get more downside towards that area as well if they really flush McGush. There's the 160s. There's 166, chat. There it is. There's the 160 level. Drop a W in the chat if you took the shorts. You got paid. You just got paid. Make no mistake about it. You definitely got paid. Man. All right, so Cray with little Ray Ray got the drop. So this is you got this account, guys, that we're trading here. So this account's up $870 on the session. We know that we had made $1,680 one account this morning. $2,060 at another Lucid Flex account, 50K account, and then you got this account that's traded now up almost $900. So we're rocking and we're rolling. Don't you worry. You gotta love it. Had to be quick there on the shorts, guys, and you got paid. So now we can be patient. We'll see what else we can get. It's funny how we're getting a reaction right off of that level. right off of the reactionary level. You could call it support. You're getting a bounce off of support that was put in at 1230. You're getting a bounce right back up so far. Somebody shout out to Kai, past 3 Lucid evals. Let's go. Did I take the trade? Yeah, I took a short. I literally called out the levels that you were looking for. Did you not? Where were you? Where were you when I called the levels out? Where were you? That's what we want to know. Do me a solid if you haven't already, guys. Hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, you know what to do. We're trying to get to 1,000 likes. We had well over 2,000 plus likes this morning, so we got to keep the streak alive of 3,000 plus likes on the day. We're getting ready for the FOMC conference, news conference coming up here at 2:30. We're going to tune in because we need to know what Powell's talking about. Maybe looking for a re-enter. Yeah, I'm not looking to re-enter now. Not off this price action. You grab a water, guys. What was for lunch? Yeah, we had the tropicals. We had the Smoothie King. Pineapple Surf is what's rocking right now, chat. Pineapple Surf. Pineapple Surf. So Apex accounts right now, chat. Apex accounts 90%. You got 90% off using the code PW as always. End of day drawdown accounts are available. You can trade up to 20 accounts. Why not? A lot of volatility in the market today. Guys, you gotta love I'll put it like this, Chad, not to throw shade at anybody, but you gotta love the baby mama drama. I mean, it's just, you know, my daughter has an appointment tomorrow, tomorrow for the ENT guys, and obviously I'm streaming. Made the baby mama well aware ahead of time, and she's asking me, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna stream. That's what I'm gonna do. I mean, I told you that ahead of time. Cray with Lil Ray Ray. Oh, man. Did you ever envision the 5,000 folks would be tuning into watching you crush the market? Legacy, that's a good question. No, I had no idea. I just know that I wanted to trade full time. I know that it's crazy, Chad. I was literally rocking out sometimes with 5 people on a Zoom, on a free Zoom chat, because if you have like 4 or 5 people or less, you get a free Zoom like every 30 minutes, right? So but that if you go over that, there's like a limit that you gotta stay within. If you go over that number, then the stream's not free. So I had like 4 or 5 people that I used to do calls, like Zoom calls with. Obviously, I would show my charts and what I'm looking at in the market. But if you would have told me you know, a year plus ago that I'll be rocking out with, actually it's closer to 6,000 guys, right? 5,500 to 6,000 at peak in the morning, over 6,000. You know, I would say that's cray with Lil Ray Ray. So I don't take it for granted, chat. A lot of volatility in the market right now. So I feel like Trump is trying to combat what that news, right? So look at the reaction. You got to be careful, chat. There's some volatility. Volatility is definitely here. All right, so you got 48 point, almost a 50 point pop right back up. V-shaped recoveries in motion. PW's in the chat. He said, "Are we almost there yet?" Oh man, show PW some love, guys. Drop a PW in the chat. PW's on a road trip here, guys. Obviously to California. I showed you guys the footage of him headed out, making a stop at the Waffle House on the morning stream. Drop a PW in the chat for PW, guys. Show him some love. He said, "Why is Texas so big?" Oh man. PW, when you get a second, check out your X. Check out my post on X. You're gonna love it. I make sure to tag you in it. Oh man. I don't know. I don't think he saw it yet, chat. Clearly he hasn't seen the post. So we'll be rocking out here, guys. We had a nice short. Saw a lot of W's in the chat, right? This account's up almost $900 on the short, so you got to love that. We're going to let this thing kind of ramp up here going into 2:30. We got the FOMC press conference with Powell. We'll tune into that, see what's going on, check the pulse of the market, see if we can frame another setup. So yeah, shout out to PW, guys. He's going through it. PW, how much time you got left? How many hours do you have left? I mean, if you're in Texas, you're moving. Well, while we got him, while we got PW, chat, we might as well. I mean, I'm just saying, we might as well show him. If he didn't see it, we might as well show him. We might as well show him, chat. Like, hey, if he didn't see it, he needs to see it, chat. He needs to see the form that was put in on that hook shot after, you know, I said it earlier, PW, you weren't here, but I said it, I beat you down. And Denny's next, because Denny's been talking a whole bunch of smack, so he can get it as well. Look at that form on that hook shot, chat. That is cray cray with Lil Ray Ray. I mean, the form, the agility, the control, the sense of balance. Beautiful thing to watch. Oh boy. So I made sure I tagged him, Chad. He might not reply because you know, he's still licking the wound, so to speak, but you gotta love it. Apex 90% off, chat. Got a lot of volatility in the market today. Saw a ton of W's. However, I know there's some DJs out there, so you're able to get up to 20 accounts using the code. Why not? I love the money, but what was that sky hook? That was some skill, sir. That was some skill is what it was. Oh, man. That's not easy, Chad. I made it look easy, but it's not easy. That's the problem, that people think it's easy. That took some skill, guys. I had to practice that a few times, went to the courts. Had that in my bag. It's kind of funny that we're hanging out right at the ORB high. So far, kind of going into that statement or conference coming up at 2:30, chat. We got less than 7 minutes, guys, to get ramped up here. If you haven't already, do me a solid, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Why wouldn't you be? We'll be rocking out all week long, starting at 9 a.m. Why not? All right, let's see where we're at, chat. Let's see how we're looking with likes. Got to keep the streak alive of 1,000 plus. So we had well over 2,000 plus this morning. We know that. $500 likes, guys. We can do better than that. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Are we ready for the good afternoon short? We're going to find out. We already had a short, though. Call shorts out. You had a short opportunity from 200 level down to 158, to be honest. So now we got to be patient, see what the market gives, and we'll get ready to tune into this conference at 2:30. We're about to flush again, maybe. So let's drop a poll, chat. Let's drop a poll as we get ready for the conference or the press conference, right? So at 2:30. We're going to drop it here in the chat. Don't you worry. All right, let's see. All right, so the poll has been dropped, chat. Curious to see how you guys feel. We got less than 4 minutes. So the question is, does Powell pump us higher or lower, or are we gonna get some chop? So far, right out the bat, 61% of the chat feels like we're going down. So you got 27% feel like we're gonna pump up, and then you got some 16% feel like there's gonna be choppity chop. So a bit of a mixed bag, but clearly the bulls are aggressive today in the chat. Who even is that guy, bro? Really? 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 He's the Fed chair. This is his last meeting. Somebody said, "Powell, good afternoon." Yeah. Hey, that's what it could be. We're gonna find out either way. So the question is gonna be, right? Do we continue with this downside momentum? You got a bearish 1 hour candle, chat. However, you got a long bottom wick. So we're gonna find out. You got about 20 seconds. I'm gonna finalize this poll, guys, and then we'll kind of flip over to the conference. Try to check it out. All right, so we're gonna finalize the poll. You'll see the results coming up here, guys. 51% dump, 30% pump, 19% chop. We're getting ready. We're getting fired up. It's funny because I'm looking here, chat, at the comments coming through on the stream for the conference. And people are saying Dump it, dump it, dump it. So we'll mute this until they come on. So if you haven't rocked out for a FOMC meeting, you're in for a treat possibly. Let's see. So it looks like they're obviously getting ready here. This chat is so adorable. So with the market right now, Chad, you get back below 158. I mean, you could be targeting the lows that were put in. ORB low, etc., right? Could easily get swiped. So just be mindful of that. Going to be a lot of volatility. You swipe 150 area, you're looking at 27,000. Could be in play. So he should be coming up here shortly.
Good afternoon. My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on achieving our dual mandate goals of maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people. The U.S. economy has been expanding at a solid pace. While job gains have remained low, the unemployment rate has been little changed in recent months. Inflation has moved up and is elevated, in part reflecting the recent increase in global energy prices. Today, the FOMC decided
Powell has not been speaking. It doesn't matter, guys. Relax.
We
relax,
see the current
guys.
Stance of monetary
this is Fox
policy
News.
as
Relax.
appropriate to promote progress toward our maximum employment and 2% inflation goals. Developments in the Middle East are contributing to a high level of uncertainty about the economic outlook, and we will remain attentive to risks to both sides of our dual mandate. I'll have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing economic developments. Recent indicators suggest that economic activity has been expanding at a solid pace. Consumer spending has been resilient, and business fixed investment has continued to expand at a brisk pace. In contrast, activity in the housing sector has remained weak. In the labor market, the unemployment rate was 4.3% in March and has changed little in recent months. Job gains have remained low. A good part of the slowing in the pace of the job growth over the past year reflects a decline in the growth of the labor force.
There's sound. I just checked
lower
myself,
immigration
so
and
you
labor
might want
force
to turn up your volume,
participation.
but there's clearly
The labor
audio.
demand has clearly softened as well. Other indicators, including job openings, layoffs, hiring, and nominal wage growth, generally show little change in recent months. Inflation has moved up
Somebody
and
said
is elevated
bazooka.
relative to our 2% longer-run goal. Estimates based on the Consumer Price Index and other data indicate that total PCE prices rose 3.5% over the 12 months ending in March, boosted by the significant rise in global oil prices that has resulted from the conflict in the Middle East. Excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 3.2% over the 12 months ending in March. This relatively high rate largely reflects the effects of tariffs on prices in the goods sector. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have risen this year, likely because of the substantial rise in oil prices. Most measures of longer-term expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal.
Chat still in my word. Bazooka candle up. Yeah, I know.
Our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. At today's meeting, the committee decided to maintain the target range for the federal funds rate at 3.5 to 3.75%. The economic outlook remains highly uncertain, and the conflict in the Middle East has added to this uncertainty. In the near term, higher energy prices will push up overall inflation.
All right, there's the bazooka.
Beyond that, the scope and duration of potential effects on the economy remain unclear, as does the future course of the conflict itself.
Kind of back and forth price
We will
action, it
continue
looks
to
like right
monitor
now.
the risks to both sides of our dual mandate. We are well positioned to determine the extent and timing of additional adjustments to our policy rate based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. Monetary policy is not on a preset course, and we will make our decisions on a meeting-by-meeting basis. This is my last press conference as chair, and I will close with a few thoughts. First, I want to congratulate Kevin Warsh on his advancement out of the Senate Banking Committee this morning. This is an important step forward, and I wish him well as that process continues. The Federal Reserve exists for one fundamental purpose: to foster the economic conditions in which American families and businesses can thrive. Stable prices, a strong job market, and a financial system they can depend on. Every decision we make, whether about interest rates or regulatory and supervisory matters or other issues, is made in service of that purpose. Our decisions reflect the collective judgment of the Board of Governors and the Federal Open Market Committee, colleagues who demonstrate analytical rigor, principled judgment, and a genuine commitment to the public interest.
Oh, you're getting a pump here,
Our
chat.
collaborative and deliberative process has long reflected a shared commitment to finding
You are
common
getting a
ground
pump to the
in
upside. Make no
service to our
mistake about
mission.
it.
This institution is resilient, capable, and staffed by professionals of extraordinary talent and exceptional dedication. It has been a privilege to serve alongside so many great public servants at the Board of Governors and around the Federal Reserve System. The Fed's work is only as effective as the public's understanding of it, and you, the press, are essential to keeping the public informed about what we do and why. The people we serve benefit from your careful reporting. I welcomed the announcement last Friday by the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia that she had closed the criminal investigation. She also noted, however, that she would not hesitate to restart the investigation. Over the weekend, the Department of Justice provided assurances that they will not reopen the investigation unless there's a criminal referral from the Fed's Inspector General. And, absent such a referral, if they do appeal the recent court decision, they would not seek, as part of that appeal, to restart the investigation or send new subpoenas. I've said that I will not leave the board until this investigation is well and truly over with transparency and finality, and I stand by that. I'm encouraged by recent developments, and I'm watching
Downtown
the remaining steps
27,030.
in this process carefully.
Hey, I mean, you never know.
Decisions on these matters will continue
You never
to be
know.
guided entirely by what I believe is in the best interest of the institution.
But
and the
clearly,
people
this
we
is his
serve.
last meeting, chat. So,
After my term as chair ends on May 15, I will continue to serve.
all
as
right.
a
So May
governor for a
15th
period
is
of
his
time
last.
to be
Sounds like his
determined.
last day.
I plan to keep a low profile as a governor. There's only ever one chair of the Federal Reserve Board. When Kevin Warsh is confirmed and sworn in, he will be that chair. Once sworn in as board chair, his new colleagues will elect him to chair the FOMC as well. As I regularly point out from this podium, our success in delivering our goals matters for all Americans. I'm confident that the Fed will continue to do its work with objectivity, integrity, and a deep commitment to serve the American people. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions.
Yeah, he makes sure to keep it short and sweet, guys. You know, he's gone. He's like,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
whatever.
Appreciate the kind words about the press. Often doesn't come from the podium in different places, but appreciate that. Can you talk about what is gone into your decision to remain on the board? What kind of criteria are you weighing, and how long might you stay? Thank you.
Sure. So, you know, my concern is really about the series of legal attacks on the Fed, which threaten our ability to conduct monetary policy without considering political factors. And I want to note here, this has nothing whatever to do with verbal criticism by elected officials. I've never suggested that such verbal criticism is a problem, and neither has anyone else here. But these legal actions by the administration are unprecedented in our 113-year history, and there are ongoing threats of additional such actions. I worry that these attacks are battering the institution and putting at risk the thing that really matters to the public, which is the ability to conduct monetary policy without taking into consideration political factors. It is so important for our economy, for the people that we serve, that they can depend over time on a central bank that operates that way, free of political influence. It's part of the absolute foundation of this amazing economy that we have. It's just one of the many reasons why the U.S. economy is the envy of the world. That
He'll take a
piece
swipe
of
at Trump for sure,
institutional
yeah.
architecture
I mean,
separates
we're
successful
going to find
countries from
out.
unsuccessful countries. It is extremely important, not for the people who work at the Fed at any given time, but for the people that we serve, that the Fed remain able to conduct monetary policy in a way that doesn't get pulled into politics, trying to help or hurt any particular politician or political party. It's critical for the people that we serve. In terms of when I would leave, I will leave when I think it's appropriate to do so. Was that all your questions, or was there?
Well, I just have a follow-up, which is, what would you say to the criticism that by remaining on the board, you're actually taking a political act and denying President Trump the majority of the board, which as president he would have if you left?
I don't see that at all. As I mentioned, you know, I'm literally staying because of the actions that have been taken. I had long planned to be retiring, you know, the things that have happened in the last 3 months have I think, left me no choice but to stay until I see them through at least that long. You know, in addition, I don't see how this will interfere. My intention is not to interfere. You know, I was a governor for almost 6 years, and the tradition is at the Fed that governors who understand how difficult the role of chair is, and as a soon-to-be former chair, I do understand how hard it is to get consensus with 19 strong-minded people. You work with the chair. You try to be heard, but also collaborate with the chair and try to support the chair when you can. When you can't, you can't. And I think that's the attitude that people generally take, and that's the attitude that I'll take.
Nick.
Chair Powell, if I could ask about the inflation outlook. In March, you described the standard practice of looking through energy shocks as conditional on inflation expectations staying anchored. Since that meeting, there has been very little progress reopening key energy trade corridors. Can you help us understand how the inflation outlook has changed in the intermeeting period, beginning with the prospects for tariff pass-through resolving on the timeline that you had outlined in March, before getting to the energy shock that is now on top?
So, you know, I would look at it this way. For a long time, we've been working on the hypothesis, really, that tariffs would lead to a one-time price increase and that would go away over time. In other words, that there would be no further change, so measured inflation wouldn't reflect that higher level going up more and more. And it's time for that to happen. You know, we really do expect that to be happening in the next 2 quarters. So we'll be watching very carefully to see that what we've thought all along would happen. That's the kind of critical part of the forecast. We need to really see that. With energy, it's so hard to say. I mentioned, you know, in sort of the textbook, you would look through an oil shock because they tend to be short-lived and they tend to revert, and monetary policy works with long and variable lags. So you wouldn't necessarily react right away. I think that is all the more true given that we're several years above 2% inflation and that we're already looking through the tariff shock. So I think we're going to be very cautious about that. But the question about looking through energy really is not in front of us right now. It hasn't even peaked yet. And I think we'd want to see the backside of that and progress on tariffs before we even thought about reducing rates.
So if I could follow up, the statement today preserves language that has taken on some meaning as it was socialized when the committee was actively lowering rates. Why is that easing bias still ripe, given how different the inflation outlook is now versus a meeting or two ago? And what more would have to happen for it to get evicted?
So
Somebody say Jerome.
We had a discussion about that at the last meeting, and we talked about it in the press conference after the March meeting. We had the same today. We had quite a vigorous discussion about that very issue and the guidance, and is it still appropriate and that kind of thing. And I would say that the number of people on the committee who either could support that language changing to a more neutral stance so that a hike is as likely as a cut. that number has increased over the intermeeting period, and it's easy to see why. I mean, it's a good question, right? You see inflation has moved up over the interim a bit. Core inflation's 3.2 now, moving, albeit just a little bit, in the wrong direction. And we know that there will be, that there's headline inflation coming out of the Gulf, and we don't know how much that will be. We're going to need to see. So it makes all the sense in the world that people would look at that and we'd have a vigorous discussion about
So
that.
Apex is 90% off, chat. We know we got some DJs out there, so
all of those people agreed with the rate decision.
make no mistake about it. Apex is 90% off using the code
The majority
PW.
of the committee did not want to do that.
You gotta love it.
And I didn't think we needed to do it at this meeting. It really was just a question of why do we need to do that now? We have so much to learn. There's so much uncertainty about the path ahead. There doesn't need to be any rush to make that decision now, because what happens in the next 30, 60 days, even by the next meeting, could really change the picture around that language. So, it's a much closer thing on the committee than it was in March, and that makes all the sense in the world, it seems to me.
Claire.
So Claire Jones, Financial Times. Just going back to this issue of the easing bias, we've now got oil approaching $120 a barrel when it comes to the benchmark.
So more than likely, chat, we will get clearly some
If it
volatility
stays around
after
those levels
the
6 weeks from now, what would be your
press
best
conference is
guess
over.
as to whether the easing bias
now the
will still
direction.
be in the statement?
Who
Thank
knows?
you.
To be honest.
I wouldn't want
Right?
to guess. Well, first
Initially,
of all,
you
we're
get the
gonna have
knee-jerk
new leadership in all
reactions.
likelihood
We've had a
by then,
drop. We've had a
new
pop.
leadership's going to have a very important
So
role to play in that.
question's
So,
going to be, how is
I
the
won't be
market going to
standing
react?
here
Obviously,
today
even
to
going
answer your
forward. So
question.
tomorrow, right? Tonight's
I don't
open.
know. As I
Globex
mentioned,
open.
That's all I can really say is that we had a great discussion
cetera,
about
so
that today.
we're gonna find out.
It's gotten to be a better question in the interim period. We had the discussion. A majority.
If you
are
haven't
still on
already,
the
guys, do
page
me a
of-
solid, hit the like
of
button. If you're not
feeling the
subscribed,
need
you know what
move
to do.
that
Trying to get to
level.
1,000
That's
plus
where
likes
I
on
am.
the stream
I
for the
get it,
afternoon.
though, at a
We got
certain
over
point,
2,500
we
people
move,
tuned in,
that
chat.
conceivably
We only
could
have
come as soon as the next
643
meeting.
likes. So
Thank you. Just to follow on, the new leadership also seem rather lukewarm on press conferences and on the dot plots.
Gotta
What
get the
would
likes
your
popping.
advice to him be on these communication tools?
So I'm not going to give him any advice through you today here, but I think communications generally is. I think every incoming chair takes a look at communications, and it's a very healthy thing. I mean, communications it's very complex, and you can always be looking at new things. And if that happens, it feels like it's going to happen. That's a completely appropriate thing.
Neil.
Hi, Chair Powell, Neil Irwin with Axios. Can you tell us if you've been in touch with incoming Chairman Warsh? To what extent is this a normal transition process versus all the things swirling around, something unusual, and what can we expect when he takes that podium in a few weeks?
I haven't seen him since seeing him at a dinner in January where I congratulated him and had a nice chat with him.
we also have earnings today. Yeah, we have earnings today.
The last process
Got
was
earnings coming
with,
up after the bell.
Janet Yellen, with whom I had worked for 6 years, and so it was. We were sitting down the hall from each other, so it was a very different thing. I think this is and will be a very normal standard.
So
kind of
you do
kind of
have
transition
you got
process. So
Microsoft
that's
coming
what
up,
I expect.
chat.
I have every reason to think it will be.
It's going to be cray cray with Lil Ray Ray. You got Microsoft.
When you may leave as a governor?
I wasn't thinking of
this
it as
is-
such,
this is,
but, no, not really. I mean, I'm
What is
thinking
going
more
on
of
here?
The other things I
Chat.
mentioned.
You got Microsoft, you got Amazon, you got all of them reporting today. This is going to be a movie after the close. Make no mistake about it, chat. You could get this is going to be very interesting today. You got Google, you got Meta, Google. This is going to be crazy, chat. Chipotle. You're in for a lot of volatility this afternoon, chat. After the bell.
Are you worried that the pandemic
You got a lot of
inflation
earnings
spike
today
that
after the bell,
followed
chat. So
will
keep
make
that in
future Fed
mind.
chairs more reluctant to pursue
That
a
there's
jobs
going to be a
target?
lot of
And should
volatility
they
coming
do?
up, probably going into this last hour after the press conference, that
I
3
don't know
o'clock
the
to
answer to
4
that.
p.m. And then make no
what
mistake
we-
about
so
it.
what
You're going to
we
get some
experience,
volatility today after market close, chat.
in the teens, the mid-teens, was
What time?
really
They're all
low
staggered.
levels of
So some of
unemployment.
these are
for a long
slated
period of
for,
time and no
so you
reaction
have
from inflation.
Microsoft at
And we all took
4:05,
very
you have
much
Amazon
notice
at
of
4
that.
o'clock, you
We
got
also noticed
you got
that
you got Meta at
the
4 o'clock,
biggest
you got
wage gains
Google
were going to
at
people at the bottom end of the income
you got
spectrum.
Google
And we
Alphabet
had
at
many
4
reports
o'clock, and you
of,
got Google,
it felt
like
a
the regular
fairly
Google,
stable
right, at 5
equilibrium,
p.m.
and a
So
lot of benefits were flowing
Chipotle's
to
at
people at the bottom end of
4:10.
the, income
Like
spectrum,
this is gonna be a
including
movie today,
companies
chat.
who
Make no
were,
mistake about it.
setting
It's gonna
up
be some
in,
fireworks
in
after the bell.
people who were confined.
So, hey,
and
to all the
training them
DJs, I
before
hate
they
to say
got
it,
out,
but
and it was a very
use the
healthy
code
sort of set of
VW
societal
because
dynamics.
there is
So, of
definitely
course,
going
I
to
think
be
everybody would love to get back
some
to
people
that.
feeling a little adventurous today, if you know
don't
what I mean.
think that anything that happened to create the global pandemic inflation was in any way related to overweighting the employment market. I mean, it was a global shock that happened essentially very, very similarly all over the world that had to do with closing, reopening, stimulus, and all that.
eBay
And-
at 4 or 5. Yeah, I saw
you look
eBay
at
as well. Yeah,
the graph of 10
I saw
big
eBay as
economies
well.
on the page and not know which was the U.S. and which was Germany, France, and things
It's
like that.
it's
So
crazy, chat. I don't think I've
that-
seen.
that insight
You know,
was in any
typically
way
it's a little,
responsible
you know,
for
couple days
the high
apart for some of
inflation
these
that we
companies. I mean, you
experienced.
got
So
you got
I
some
think
big
it's
you got
always
some big
been a
players
balance.
reporting today after the bell.
You've got to be strong on both of our dual mandates. And for example, now we don't feel that the labor market is at all a source of inflation, so we don't need to be worrying about that. It's been a long time since we have had to worry about that. Well, actually, during the pandemic recovery, the labor market was super overheated and tight, and that's when we had to worry about it, but not now.
Just on the other issue, do you need more assurance from the Justice Department before stepping down? Is that what you're waiting for, or what else?
I'm
is gonna
waiting,
affect your
for
decision?
the investigation to be well and truly over with finality and transparency. And I'm waiting for that, and I will leave when I think it's appropriate to do so.
Michael McKee?
Michael McKee from Bloomberg Television and Radio. I'd like to ask you if you could explain a little more or characterize a little more the discussion about the two-sided view and interest rates, because there were some members of the Open Market Committee who've been suggesting that we may need to raise interest
Take
rates.
3801
even
said
absent the
Chipotle's
war,
at 410 and
because
corn
inflation was
dogs
not
at
coming down
420.
fast enough.
Oh man.
Is there any
Yeah, we're gonna give
sense
you a
that
quick timeout for trying to make a
interest
corn
rates
dog
might have
reference
to
there.
go
We're gonna
up,
give
or
you
was this just a
10-second
setup
timeout there.
to sort of warn people that you're worried about the war impacts?
So nobody, the three dissenters and others who could have supported that, and others who were voters and preferred.
Where are you seeing the exact times? Yeah, I use Earnings Whispers.
supported the rate
That's the
decision.
website that I
So
used to use.
people are
Chat. It's
not
funny
saying
when I
we
used to
need
trade
hike now.
options
It's more a
and
question
all of
of,
that. So I always
don't we kind of
reference
feel that we should be neutral, and
earningswhispers.com, right?
what are markets
Keep
doing?
in mind, though,
People
chat,
argue
that
this
sometimes
is
that
consistent with markets are
obviously
doing.
it's going to be after 4
And
if
again,
they're
it's-
saying they're
it's a very
reporting
fair
after the
question,
bell. So
but,
it's going to be
these
4 p.m. or later,
changes, there is, it's a
Eastern
form of
Standard
forward
Time.
guidance.
However,
And you
sometimes
wanna
that information
you
comes
don't
out a
wanna
little
make
early.
them-
So
You want to make them in a way that
if it
that
says
are
like
sustained
4:05,
and
it might
continue to
come out
make
at
sense,
4,
and not something
right,
you need to
or
take back,
et cetera.
fairly quickly. So I think we just, a group of us, including me, didn't feel like we needed to be in a hurry on that markets are not.
Yeah, the
confused
press
about our
conference is
reaction
typically
function.
wrapped
We don't
up by
have a
3
problem
o'clock,
to solve
chat.
on that. But the other
Typically
side of the
goes about
argument is
30
a good
minutes, and then,
argument, too, as I mentioned, it's a perfectly
which sets us up perfectly
good
for
argument to be
Power
having,
Hour.
good discussion to be having. So, and it came out the way it came out.
Well, you've got 3 dissents in favor of two-sided warning. You've got yourself staying on the board. You've got the criticism that does come from elected officials, and you've got a lot of critics who have faulted the Fed for being too slow 2021 with inflation. Are you worried about Fed credibility under all of this? Is that one reason that you want to stay on?
Not driving my thinking now. I mean, monetary policy is going to get made by, 19 people.
Tim Murray,
There's a lot
25
of
minutes too
stability
much.
I mean, if you think about it, every new Fed chair has the same situation, which is you've got 18 colleagues on the FOMC, 11 of them vote during any year, and your job is to create consensus. It's to talk to them, understand them, be inside their thinking.
How's the coleslaw Pokemon? Yeah, I saw PW take a look at it the other day, Chad. I think he's
every Fed chair has
might
to
be
do,
looking
and
to
I
barter and
think Kevin
trade,
Warsh
so
is actually
it's in
quite
good shape. I got it
he has the
sleeved. It's ready to
capabilities,
go.
skills to be very good at that. I would
Still
think.
got it sleeved up,
So
Chad. I
think
feel like at
I'm
some
not so
point it's
worried
going to
about that
be.
process.
I feel like
You
it's
know,
gaining
I
value
think
every day.
that'll
So
work itself out.
shout out to my coleslaw Pokemon card.
Thank you, Chair Powell. Howard Schneider.
definitely appreciating
You mentioned that
in value.
staying on as a governor, you intend to keep a low profile. I'm just wondering if you
D
could
looks
give
like
us
he
little
wants a
detail
nice
on
and slight. Yeah,
what
we're gonna
that
give you a
looks like and
time
how
out there,
you
both
can-
for clips.
Touche.
Oh man,
What that, walk down the steps.
we gotta give you a
What that
timeout,
looks
sir.
like,
That deserves
and particularly
definitely a
around the
5-minute
policy
timeout.
discussion,
So
how you're able
there you go.
to have your intervention and not be.
We'll see you. We'll
a
see you
shadow
for Power
chair,
Hour,
not
sir.
have a kind of an outsized influence over the process.
Yeah, that's just something I would never do. The shadow chair
Oh,
thing.
man.
It's. I don't know what the exact specifics of it will be, but I'm going back to being a governor. I respect the role of chair. I was a chair. I was a governor for 6 years, and I know what that's like. I know it, and I had a pretty front row seat particularly with Chair Yellen, to whom I was close when I worked with Chairman Bernanke for 2 years, but I was brand new at that time, so I got a sense of what it was, and I had real sympathy for how hard it is to get that group to consensus, and I always felt like I don't want to add to that unnecessarily, and that means try to support the chairs where the direction the chair wants to go in, if you can. If you can't, you can't. And I think that's the way it's always worked.
Leo, you're being very aggressive, sir. Get this old fart off the stage before he tanks the market again. Wow.
If they're not
You are getting fired up.
Do that. And so
The
that's
market's
why
actually
the chair
pumping,
has
sir.
The authority the chair has really is to develop.
There's
relationships with people and work with them
27,277.
and
So
put something
you are
forward
being
that has
very
consensus.
aggressive with
And,
with Powell here,
I
sir.
propose to be a very constructive
Oh,
participant in
man.
that process, really out of respect for the office of the chair.
And in your view as a soon-to-be governor, how do you see the risks of oil prices bleeding into core inflation in coming weeks? Because it seems like the commentary that was coming from particularly some of the Reserve Bank presidents, they were elevated concerns about the bleed into core. And, here we are with 3 dissents now. What do you see as the prospect of a core inflation?
Those prospects are real. Remember, though, and they're real, and the real thing is we're going to have to wait and see. We're going to need to see. And the good news is we think our policy stance is in a very good place for us to wait and see. We're right kind of at
Go
the
long,
high
D-Money.
end of
Yeah, a lot of
neutral,
times you'll get
perhaps
volatility
mildly
in the
restrictive.
metals, right?
The
Especially
labor
like
market
gold.
shows
I don't know
more
about
signs
silver.
of stability, whereas inflation
Right,
is
probably
kind
the
of
same thing, right?
misbehaving,
You'll
so
get some
maybe a little
volatility
bit
for sure.
of
And some of those safe haven, they like to call those like safe haven kind of deals, right? So when you got Trump speaking, the Fed chair speaking, a lot of times you'll get
you see it already in
some volatility,
but you may
for
see
sure.
it in many other places. We just
I'm confused. So he's not leaving when he says so. So he's May 15th is his last day. It sounds like as chair. He's going to be a governor, so he's not going to be the chair anymore. So that's what's going on.
Fortunately, we're in a good place to wait and let things develop.
So we're at 800 likes, guys. Do me a solid, hit the like button if you haven't already. If you're not subscribed, you know what to do. We got 2,600 people tuned in to the show chat. We're getting ramped up here. This should be over in a minute or so, and then you'll be into Power Hour. Very curious to see how Power Hour plays out today due to the fact that we have major players reporting earnings after the bell today, from Microsoft to Amazon to Google to Meta. It's going to be a movie, chat.
At every meeting, and sometimes between
It's going to be a movie.
And doing that without a press conference, I think, would have been quite challenging. It's become the industry norm. It's the standard. I don't know whether that has to remain that way. I don't know. I mean, it's just something people have become used to.
TraderDater IQ, your likes are topped out. No, they're not. No, they're not. And we're going to give you a timeout for trying to insinuate that, sir. So, TraderDater IQ, we're going to give you a 10-second timeout for trying to say that the likes are on timeout. There's never not a good time to like the stream, so we got to give you a 10-second for trying to insinuate that we can't get any more likes on the stream. Funded Trader NQ. There's your 10-second timeout. We'll see you in about 2 seconds because you're probably back already. So, oh man.
On those changes.
So
market's pumping to the upside, chat. There's 27,300.
But what we found
the Funded Trader NQ's already back, guys. He's already back in the chat. Oh man.
Making really large changes, for example, to the dot plot or the SEP. it didn't have, we couldn't come up with anything that had really broad support on the committee. And so we just moved on. We didn't really do as much on that as we might have. And you know, I was never the world's biggest fan of the dot plot, but you can't beat something with nothing. And you know, we've looked at a bunch of things, and you know, it's something, like I said, I think every new chair is going to look at our suite.
Just pass it out, VFP. Yeah, so I want to make sure, sometimes we get people that are new to the stream chat, so you got to almost clarify just so they know. Just having fun with this, with the chat, that's all. So these brief timeouts, they're just, you're just having fun with the chat, guys. These aren't bans. We're not banning anybody for those comments, right? We're literally just having fun and interacting with the chat, that's all. So.
And better way is the most natural thing in the world.
Thank you. Colby Smith with the New York Times. If I could follow up on Mike's question about hikes, are we right to assume that the
all right, so you're in your 3 o'clock. This is at 3 o'clock time, chat, and you're gonna get right. This should be wrapping up here. Normally, it barely goes over 30 minutes. So
at all right now, the economy is holding up relatively well.
Should be wrapping up here pretty quick.
Shock. The unemployment rate has ticked lower. Inflation was moving sideways even before the war and is now.
Do you look at gold? No, I do not.
So where is the committee at on that debate?
You know, where we're at is we think our policy rate is in a good place. If we need to hike, we will certainly signal that, and we will certainly do it. And if we need to cut, then, or if it's appropriate to cut, then we'll signal the opposite. I think because we feel like we're in a good place to move in either direction. Nobody's calling for a hike right now. So it really is going to depend on how things.
So notice what he said, Chad. He said nobody's calling for a hike right now.
As I mentioned, much closer.
So that's
this cycle,
right? Which we know that.
But ultimately we didn't.
You know, Trump clearly wants lower interest rates, guys. Obviously,
think the risk to growth will be larger than the risk.
And you know, you got the new Fed chair that's coming in, so. Could be a very exciting second half of the year.
You know, given our the fact
potentially, right? If rates are starting to get lower, et cetera, like it's going to be interesting. We're going to find out.
Energy intensive.
That's why these meetings are important, Chad. I know maybe there's people out there that's rocking out with the stream and they're like, why are we watching the Fed chair speak? It's because the Fed clearly has an impact on the market.
The effects we're feeling.
And a lot of times, directional moves occur based off of what they say or do not say. So,
a relatively quick outcome. If this goes on for much longer and prices go much higher, then we'll feel that.
Important to stay up to date.
And of course, I'm talking about aggregate inflation numbers. We're very well aware that people are experiencing higher gas prices all over the country now, and that hurts. And those hikes may continue to happen. And other things are going to start.
Somebody cut his mic off before he does something.
Other products and services that are dependent upon petroleum and derivatives of petroleum. People are going to start to feel that.
Edward.
Thank you, Chair Powell. Edward Lawrence with Fox Business. So I guess I'll just ask you directly on this. The markets don't see a rate cut at all this year, is what they're predicting. Do you think that we are at the neutral rate? Why or why not?
You know, the neutral rate is we cannot know it with certainty. I think pretty close to the neutral rate. Yeah, I always had it, you know, between 3% and 4%. We're a little north of 3.5%, so that's well in the range of what I would consider a reasonable, but at the higher end of the range of what I would consider reasonable neutral rate. You know, I think the labor market is still probably cooling off just a little bit.
Do you look at the correlation between NQ and NVIDIA? Yeah, sometimes.
In any case, really, for policy looking, you know.
Because yeah, sometimes there is a pretty direct correlation between the two. So a lot of times, if NVIDIA is pumping, you will get a pump on NQ on Nasdaq.
We've seen 4 dissents now since October of 1992. Are you handing off a divided Fed?
You know, the thing to remember is. We have always had vigorous debates, and they're excellent debates. I have to say they've been really good, and we're in an unusually difficult situation. So we've really had 4 supply shocks. You can say more than 4, but at a minimum, we had the pandemic. We had the
He and Jay
invasion
Yellen both have a
of
face for
Ukraine, we had
radio.
tariffs, and now we have Iran and the oil, the oil spike.
Oh,
So
man.
those every supply shock has the capability of driving inflation up and unemployment up. And what do? It's the central bank has a really hard time knowing what to do. So the right thing to do is to try to balance the achievement of those 2 goals, and that's what our framework calls for us to do. But these are really tough, difficult judgments. You've got to have a forecast for each variable. You've got to think how long it's going to take to get back to target. You got to think how restrictive or not is policy. So it's only natural that you have a range of views on the committee. People are going to see it different ways. They're going to have different risk tolerances and that kind of thing. I mean, if everybody agreed, that would be surprising. And I think it's partly a
Can we get the
function of
Jerome wig on
extraordinarily
Jerome here
challenging
and post it? Let's go. Hey,
supply
somebody
shocks
drop
that
it,
we've
guys.
been
I'll
dealing with now for
tag me in the
5-6
post.
years.
I'll repost it.
Thank you so much, Chair Powell. Selena Wayne with ABC News. Are you confident that Kevin Warsh will stand up to political pressure from President Trump?
The
So
questions
he
are getting good here,
testified
chat.
very strongly to that effect in his hearing, and I'll take him at his word.
And when it comes to gas, right now it's over $4 a gallon. Inflation just hit a 2-year high. Should Americans expect to be paying higher gas prices for the rest of this year? And in your view, does that take a rate cut off of the table? And secondly, by staying on as Fed governor, what message do you think you're sending to the president?
I don't know what gas prices are going to do for the rest of the year. And it will depend on how long the strait remains closed and how quickly it can be reopened and that kind of thing. But remember, when gas prices go up,
Miss Legally, what's your double girl? Oh, man.
Pockets, so they're going to spend less on other things. So there will be a hit to GDP. So it's a question whether spending goes down to offset the inflationary effects. So it's not the answer isn't obvious ex ante whether you should move your rate over because of that. We'll have to see how it evolves.
And the message it sends to President Trump by staying on?
I'll stand on what I said earlier.
Victoria.
So the question was
with Politico.
basically, is he sending a message to Trump, chat, by staying on as Fed governor?
And I was just wondering, practically speaking, where do you see Fed independence as coming from? Is it the law? Is it political support from Congress? Is it the actions of the Fed? What sustains Fed independence?
Well, it's to a significant extent, it is the law, and we've had to go to court to successfully so far to defend it. But the law does create a setting in which the Fed can and is directed to make monetary policy without consideration of political factors. And so,
I never had so much fun watching the Fed pressers. Yeah, I know, right?
It goes beyond that, though. There's a set of customs. There's a boundary line between the Fed and the administration, between the Fed and the
It's a
Treasury
critical moment,
Department.
chat. You
And we
got a
will
new
respect
Fed chair
those,
coming
continue
in.
to respect those
He's headed
boundaries
out,
about
right?
what the Fed is
Jerome's
responsible for and what the
Powell's headed
Treasury is
out. You got a new
responsible
Fed
for.
chair coming in.
And
The
what the
Fed
rest
chair
of
that's
the
coming in
administration are
obviously
responsible
is
for.
recommended by
Some of it
Trump,
is illegal.
and it's Trump's selection
In
for
fact,
the
it's all
Fed.
legal
So
at the end of the day, but it's more than just monetary policy. We don't want to.
clearly, Powell and Trump don't see eye to eye on where interest rates currently are.
Clearly outside our mandate. Every administration looks at our tools and thinks that would be good to repurpose those to serve other purposes, but that gets dragged. That's dragging us into politics and into fiscal policy. So
when is FOMC?
Well,
Are you
another way of
serious?
asking it,
Are
too,
you
is,
joking?
Do you think that Fed independence is as strong now?
Are
as
you
when
joking,
became
man?
Chair, and if so, why?
Look, I think it's at risk. I mean, I think these legal assaults, if you will, as I mentioned, the institution is being battered over these things. We're having to resort to, the courts to enforce our legal.
Yeah, he was so.
It's not so
Yeah,
much
you can talk about
independence,
Powell being
it's
selected,
really
whatever,
the
but
ability
clearly,
to
the
do monetary-
Trump,
to make monetary policy
wants
without
lower
political
rates, chat.
considerations.
That's what it is.
That's what
And
we're
the
talking
minute
about.
that basically
And,
Powell you know,
to do that, and we've been successful.
obviously
so
was showing
far,
some
but that's not
resistance
over.
on
A lot
it
of that
because
is
you look at the
concluded
rates and where
yet.
they're
And
at.
it's
You know,
really
obviously
important.
Trump
It's
wanted
not
him
about-
out of there. So
it's
that's
not
the
about people
that's
who
the
work at
reality.
Fed or the institutions. It's
That's the
about
reality,
benefits
chat.
of a central bank that makes decisions.
So now with
based on
this new pick, we'll
analysis
see if
and our
Trump
best
gets.
thinking.
Obviously, Trump has
rather
stated,
than, trying to
hey,
help
we
or
need to
hurt
lower
politicians.
rates
It's,
and
there's
all
a
that.
bright
And the
line
new
between
chair is basically saying that he's going to
central
stand
banks
up
who
to
do
Trump
one
when
and do the other,
necessary.
And successful countries have.
But make no mistake
uniformly
about it,
successful advanced
Trump is
economy
definitely
countries have a really strong set of protections
going to
around
be
their
pushing
central
hard
bank just
for
that reason.
lower rates.
So that's what it's all about. I think I am confident, as I said in my remarks, that the Fed will continue to make its decision based on analysis, rigorous analysis, and not on political considerations. But we've had to fight for it, and I'd like to think that I'd like to think we can get out of that era.
The love affair is
and go
over.
back to
Yeah,
respecting,
pretty much.
what the law says and what custom has been, which is to, let the Fed do our thing. It's an institution full of human beings who work super hard to get things right for the benefit of the public. We're all human. Don't expect for perfection, but do expect us to make, decisions without political considerations and the very best analysis we can bring.
There was a little, that was a little shot there, chat, right?
Katerina Saraiva, Bloomberg News. How would you characterize what you've heard from your colleagues on your decision to stay? Do you have their support? And then have you heard concern from
Any
your
trade plan?
colleagues,
I mean, if
about
you want to trade
continued
this,
legal
trade it,
attacks
right?
from,
But
the executive branch, is this something that others have,
that's the
talked to you
thing.
about?
To be, if you want the right advice or you want the wrong advice. You don't need me to tell you to take trades right now if you're itching to trade. The reality is that
continue. That's all. I'll
right.
say.
So
And,
you know that there's going to be
and
some
that would be a
volatility
problem.
here.
And so.
So just be, I would say train carefully, right? Because a lot of times once the meeting's over, that's when you're gonna get,
do you have any thoughts on
you'll get some volatility that kind of steps into the market. Obviously, right now you got some bullish momentum.
And then are you concerned that
You just tapped above 27,300, like 310 area, right? You got pretty close to it.
Reserve
So
Bank functions even more in such a way where
we had the shorts
the central bank ultimately
kind of lining up to or leading into the Fed speaking, right? So
we try to be good.
You guys saw that,
of the public's money,
right? Had a nice short, and then
and
now
Chris
you're
in
just kind of waiting for this to be
particular
over.
is particularly passionate about that.
But
So are the reserves.
if you're feeling risky and you're going YOLO, I know there's some YOLOing out there.
We of course.
I can sense it, chat.
Chris said this in his speech.
That there's some YOLOing going on.
12 strong independent
Use the code
central banks with their own
PW.
staffs and
You
their own
already know,
monetary policy
90%
views and all
off.
that.
Apex,
But,
Lucid,
there are things that are
40%
done
off
in all
because
12, which
I
could
know
well
for
be
a
done
fact
in
there's some
one,
people
much
that
more
went
efficiently and with
that
cost
went
savings.
Deej
And
style
so
today.
There's a back and forth going on that, but
Trying to play this
everybody's
volatility.
on the same page. The other thing he touched on was
hopefully you got the
idea
moves
of
right.
removing
If you didn't,
Reserve Bank presidents from office,
you know the
over
code.
Different views on monetary policy, and I would just agree with him so strongly that would be the beginning of the end of the Fed's ability to make monetary policy independently. If every administration could come in and do that, you're just another cabinet agency at that point. So that's not something that I would support. Chris said the same thing.
Christine. Thanks, Chair Powell. Christine Romans, NBC News. I want to ask about legacy. When the history books are written, how
all right,
do
so
you
you're
think
getting some
stewardship
momentum
at the
here,
Fed
chat.
will be remembered
It's
for the
still
past few
going
years?
on. We'll give this another
just
couple
say
minutes,
that,
and we'll flip back to the charts.
That's for someone else to say. I'll give you a mulligan on that.
All right, I'm going to ask you about misbehaving inflation then. You talked about those 4 big shocks, supply shocks over the past 5 years, and inflation still misbehaving. What's your message to American families who feel like inflation has not been under control for them really since the COVID reopening?
We're committed to bringing inflation back down to 2% and sustainably. That's our goal, and we'll stick at it until that happens. We keep getting these events keep happening, which keep driving up costs, and the best thing we can do is to use our tools to guide inflation back down to 2%. I think trying to get there really quickly could be very costly in terms of job loss and things like that. But We try to get there over time in a way that does the least
All right,
damage
there's more
possible,
upside
and,
there,
our commitment to that
27,315.
is never ending and unshakable.
How would you describe the economy outside of the misbehaving inflation? I mean, it's
Somebody
still
said they just made another
awfully
$1. Yeah.
resilient, given all
I mean,
of the blows.
listen, chat. You're gonna learn
It can be awfully resilient.
that
So
it's
actually
smart.
quite
It's
resilient, I would
smarter
say,
to
'cause it's a
wait for
positive
the
thing if I
speech
can-
to be
if I have
over,
that
even if you
amendment.
see moves
Yeah, the-
happening,
the
chat.
growth
They can
is
be
really
retraced
solid
instantly.
across
Like
our
you could see a
economy.
50-point
Some of
pop
that is,
and then a 100-point drop,
consumer
chat.
spending is hanging
So
pretty well. The
yeah,
most
the
recent
longs
data
are printing
good.
right now to the
And some of it
upside.
is just the apparently insatiable
They
demand
are,
for data
right? You
centers
just
all
hit
over the United
325,
States.
so I would say
a lot
bulls
of,
are clearly in
business investment
control
going into
of the
building
market
data
at the
centers,
moment.
and every reason to think that that continues. So you've got an economy that's growing at 2% or better. PDFP, which is private domestic final purchases, which is really a better signal of a momentum in the economy, is actually higher than that. So that's a positive thing. If you look at the unemployment rate, it's 4.3%. So that's a low rate. That's pretty close to mainstream estimates of the natural rate. We've been there for a long time. So it doesn't feel like
$1.
a good labor
Yeah,
market to some
somebody-
who don't
somebody
have
said they
jobs
made
because
$1.
quits are really low,
Oh,
hires
man.
are really low, and there's effectively no new net job creation. So that's in a sense, the labor market is in balance, but it's an unusual and uncomfortable kind of a balance where people who don't have jobs will have a hard time breaking in unless somebody quits their job. So that's pretty good. Inflation is the thing we need to work on. And it's partly tariffs, which we think that inflation should subside over the course of this year because it's kind of a one-time increase. It shouldn't be repeated, and that should start happening pretty soon. The energy inflation that we're getting should go through fairly quickly, and we'll just have to see how that works out. In the meantime, we think our policy stance is in a good place for us to hold and wait developments.
Jennifer. Thank you, Chair Powell. Jennifer Schonberger with Yahoo Finance. At the risk of beating the dead horse here, clearly three members objected
shots fired
to
again at
keeping
tariffs.
that
Yeah, I know.
easing
I
bias
just
in the
heard it.
statement. And you said that the majority still didn't need to move to new language at this point. So does the majority of the committee still have a bias towards cuts at this point, or has the bias on the committee shifted away from cuts towards holding or hikes if that was needed?
So I think that the center is moving toward a more neutral place. And that's sort of what markets are saying too.
Early bird.
I just think
nobody. I'm not concerned,
there's a lot
right?
of
You hit the
signaling
live
going on
button.
when you
This is
change
Fox
guidance
News.
like that. And
So,
we just,
not concerned,
I
sir.
guess the
Everybody
the
wants an ideal
majority
time.
of us
So,
didn't feel like we needed
hey,
to send a signal on that right
we
now.
joined the Fox
And
News live
maybe
stream.
we'll come to
It's
that.
live.
And the
If you
reason
click
is
the live
because,
button and
we're
refresh
kind of
it,
waiting to see what happens with
this is where it's at. So.
events in the Middle East and what are the implications of those events for the U.S. economy. So
There's always going to be a difference on the
in
feed.
a hurry to do that. We get it, and of course we will.
So that's just what it
move
is.
to a hiking bias if we want to hike, and we'll move to a neutral bias before that. But there was a difference over whether to do it at this meeting, at a meeting at which all but one of us agreed that the rate decision was correct, which was not to move.
And you just said moments ago that you believe Fed independence is at risk. Is it safe to say that you want to stay on as a governor to serve as a check and balance on that?
I want to stay until I will stay until I feel it's appropriate for me to leave. And yes, that is really what is driving this. I'm not looking to be, a high-profile dissident or anything like that. I'm more looking at the other aspects of this and wanting to see that things have calmed down and we're returning to a traditional model of working with the people that you have and bringing them to consensus and respecting that consensus. That's what I'm hoping to see.
Matt Egan.
Thanks, Chair Powell. Matt Egan with CNN. You've made many tough decisions in your time at the Fed. And as your time as chair comes to a close, and you think about your tenure and perhaps your legacy, are there any decisions?
I mean, I would be
that
shocked
stand
if this
out
is
as
not
ones that you're
kind of like
particularly
wrapped up
proud
here
of?
because there's not
And
much
are there any
right
that with the
to.
benefit of hindsight you would
He's
take
basically
note of?
saying that he's going to stay on as governor.
Yeah,
his last day is the
it's hard to- I
15th.
wouldn't want to single out individual things at this point. I'll just say, all of us together have consistently tried to do what we think is best for the American people based on our tools and our objectives that Congress has given us. It's been very challenging because we've been in a situation of supply shock. Supply shocks really.
He got 2 weeks to pack his stuff.
And that's just a very different situation than for a very long time.
Yeah,
what
he got
the Fed and other central banks were
2
doing
weeks
all
at a
the
day.
time
Yeah,
was demand
you're right.
management. And
He gone.
There was always the inflation mandate, but inflation was low for 25
man.
years. So this is a very different world and a much more challenging one where you have to balance the two objectives. And by the way, central banks that have an inflation mandate have to do exactly the same thing because they're balancing economic activity. So that's been challenging, and we've tried to do our very best through these really challenging times, and I'm really proud of the work that I've done, that my colleagues and I have done during these years.
Now, to follow up on some of the discussion around Fed independence, can you explain to the public why this notion of Fed independence, which might sound kind of wonky to some, is
Shout
so
out to
critical?
Tanner for the
What are
$5 tip.
consequences if either the Supreme Court rules against Lisa Cook, or
D
the
Buddy,
Fed in
do
the
one,
future
Barry.
decides to
What
make
allow my
decisions
goodness. Camilla Harley,
more around
AOC
the
go.
political
Oh,
calendar instead of
man.
the economic data.
Yeah.
Every major advanced economy in the world has made the same decision the United States has made.
I've never seen somebody
And that
use so
is
many
that
words to say
they wanna
absolutely
take
nothing other
the
than
making
we're
of
holding. I know.
monetary policy,
It's
the
crazy.
setting of interest rates to support
And
the
remember,
economy,
Chad, he
to
knows
achieve
that
maximum
he's,
employment
you know,
and
he's
price
out of that,
stability. They
he's
wanna
out of
take
this
that
position
out of the direct
in 2 weeks, so he's not gonna,
elected politicians. And the reason
right?
is
He's not gonna
elected
downplay
politicians are always running
or
for
say
election,
that he
and
had it
they'll always want low
wrong
rates, and
during
that'll
his time
lead
as
to
Fed chair,
inflation
right?
over
You guys
time.
know he's not
So
going to come out and
after,
say that, especially when
literally
Trump
centuries of experience with that,
is
the
still
whole
breathing
world
down
moved
his
to
neck
a
and
different
all
model.
that. So
It's
he's basically just
this is the
being
era in
aggressive,
which
saying that he's going to stay on
inflation
as
was
governor
under control for
to
4
try to
years. Then we had
see
the pandemic
how
inflation
things
everywhere
stabilize
in
and
the
all
world,
that.
now
So
we have inflation that had
whether or
gone
not that's a
pretty much all the way
political
back
kind
to
of
target, really close to all the way back to target,
to
and
try to
now
toy
he's
with
been
Trump or
buffeted by
not.
the energy shock in the U.S. buffeted by the tariff
Who
shock
knows?
as well. So, but what I would say to the general public is that's the backstory. Is that don't think about an institution being independent. Think about it this way: that you want people to make monetary
Did you get-
policy and set interest rates to benefit
Did you give
the
a long
general
speech
public
like this when you left
and to try to
Walmart?
achieve
No, I did not.
economic goals, which are maximum employment and price.
Remember,
stability.
Chad, you know what's
Focus only on
crazy
that.
is that I think I've shared that before on the
Political
stream.
considerations completely
I had
ignore
like
them.
peers,
This
like
isn't
store managers,
bipartisan,
like
this is
peers that I was
nonpartisan.
showing like the whole
So
trading thing, and
we wanna
some of those guys
just
went to my
work
boss and
directly for the
told him
American
like,
people
oh,
doing
D-Money's
these things.
making,
We
you know,
don't
oh,
think,
he got
this will-
a
I'm gonna do this
$85,000
because
payout,
the
you
president
know,
says
and
it's a
like
good
all that
idea,
stuff, and
because there's an
so
election
I guess
coming
he
up,
like
and I
freaked
wanna-
out, so
I
he
wanna
like
speed up or slow down the
called me
economy.
and was like, oh, are you
Think
planning on
about that.
leaving
If
us?
that's-
And
if that's what we were
it's like
doing,
crazy, man.
we'd have no credibility. Markets would lose faith in us, and our ability to control inflation and have any respect would be gone. And let me say, whatever people say, the markets believe in that we will
talks
produce
too much
2%
shit.
inflation. If you look at longer run
There's Trump.
expectations, markets believe that there's no sense in which our credibility in the markets has weakened. It's just not the case. It's people do get it, that this is our commitment and that we will achieve it, and it's priced in. If you disagree with that, then you can go ahead and bet against the markets, but the markets are pricing in Fed credibility.
Okay, we'll go to Richard for the last one.
All right, this is the last question here, guys.
Thank you, Chair Powell. Richard Escobedo with CBS News. We talked a lot about gasoline prices and even you mentioned airline ticket prices, both of which are up dramatically because of the war in Iran. And so I wonder, are you seeing that weigh down consumer spending in other parts of the economy? And if so, how worried are you that that will be a drag on growth?
You don't see it in spending yet. You really don't. I mean, as one of your colleagues said, the economy has been resilient.
So
Really
shout out
has.
to Chris,
Not
guys.
just
He
this
got a
time, it's
post
been
up here.
remarkably resilient
I'm
for some
not gonna
years.
lie though, it doesn't
Economy
look
is
like
just
Jerome, but you got the
powerfully
afro
shock
right.
after
So
shock.
we
And
hooked you up with a
consumers are still
repost.
spending, and that's what the banks will tell you, credit card companies will tell you, the retail sales numbers that we got
On
most
X.
recently. People are still spending, and how long can that go on in a world where if gas prices were to go up a bunch more, that's taking otherwise spendable money out of people's pockets. But right now, we don't actually see much slowdown in yet, certainly none from this. But you think logically you will, because people have a certain amount of money to spend, if they're spending 25% more on gas or something like that, then that's going to come out of other spending. But we don't see it yet.
One last thing. You mentioned those economies in Southeast Asia that are particularly dependent on petroleum. They make a lot of the stuff that American consumers buy. So was there any discussion today about whether or not those costs getting passed along to consumers is a real concern, and whether or not that might push up inflation?
So all of those things are in the models that we use to calculate inflation. So they're just parts. You can ask about anything like that, and they have a place. The staff has a place where they're looking at that and pricing in what will happen with higher prices and that kind of thing. So it's there. The effects are not that big yet. We're a huge economy. The import sector is only
Scripted.
10% of the economy, so we're not like a European
Well,
country
Chad,
where
he's not going to
50%
say
of the,
anything to
external
incriminate
of the
himself,
GDP is in the
or
external
come on.
sector.
God,
So,
no, that's not going to happen,
as I
Chad.
mentioned, we're an oil exporter, so we're not feeling the same kind of pain, and we're not likely to feel.
He
the
was
same
under
kind of pain that
investigation, like all that. He's not
economies
going to say
in
anything
Western
to
Europe and certainly
incriminate
in Asia
himself.
are feeling. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone. I won't see you next time.
He said, "I won't see you next time." He gone. He gone. All right, so it is over. It is over, chat. All right, so you had some pretty drastic moves to the upside. You know what's funny, guys? We're right back to the level that we tried to break out of this morning. Believe it or not, 27,320. We're able to put in a higher high, 27,340, and then now we're kind of hanging out here, top of the range. So let's see what happens. So Powell basically said, "I'm never leaving. I'm leaving as Fed chair, but I'm staying as governor. I'm never leaving." All right, so you would be looking for a break of these highs, guys, for continuation up towards 341, right? If you're a bull. So you're looking now to see if bulls got more momentum to take us to that 340 level or higher, chat. Kind of breaking out of this area, headed up to 341. Take out that previous high 5-minute chart, because you had a pump here, retracement, pump. You got the retracement, and then now you would be anticipating possibly more upside towards the highs up here. So let's see what happens. We're getting ready for 3:30. 30-minute candle. It's about to close out. It is bullish. Nice bottom wick. So let's see if we, so you definitely would want, if you're a bull as well, you want these lows to be protected here, guys, right? You want this to be like a higher low setup. So even if we pull back, you would almost want 27,265 to hold, and we push back for new highs. Because we just put in a high, make no mistake about it, guys. We just put in the high of the session. Or the high of the day, to be honest, right? 27,340. What broker? Yeah, this is using Tradevate Prop. That's Tradevate Prop. That's the platform that I'm trading, that I physically take trades on. That's the one and only platform of the BDH. And these are Lucid accounts that I'm trading on right now, Lucid Flex accounts. Remember that last time they dropped before the close? Yeah. And we just had a pump. Keep that in mind, chat. So be smart here. Could be, you know, you're looking for, if you're a bull, you want some kind of higher low and then a push higher. If you're a bear, you want us to reject this with these highs up here at momentum and then continue back down, right? To retest these lows at 27,150 areas. So we're going to see how this plays out. Keep in mind, you do have the big boys reporting earnings today, from Amazon to Microsoft to Google, Chipotle. The list goes on and on, chat, after market close. Got a poll coming up here for the last 30 minutes. How you guys are feeling about the last, you know, that going into the close MOC, right? Pop, drop, or chop. LOL, thought you were about to say Olive Garden. No. All right, so you're watching for the 14 EMA 5-minute chart, chat. 27,276, right? You're looking to see if this is going to be some kind of reaction. For the bulls. Back the opposite direction. Or do the bears step in with aggression and take us lower going into earnings from these major corporations? We might be headed down to 27,200. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, we need to hold, in my opinion, we need to hold this area. Right? We need to hold these lows. 27,263 needs to hold up as a higher low. And then we bounce out of this area with momentum back to the upside for the bulls. If we lose it, not great. party could be over to the upside. So this is a reactionary level, chat. You're looking for a reaction inside of this gray box. Somebody said, why is oil pumping? I mean, who knows? All right, you're kind of watching here to see if they're going to pick up the momentum to the upside, get back to these highs. You got about 60 points. Close the poll out, chat. You have 48% feel like we're going to drop. 35% feel like we're going to pop. And the 17% felt like we're going to have some chop going into the close. Probably anticipating that it's earnings coming up after the bell. So could anticipate some chop. All right, bullish reaction so far. Maybe you can trade the 1 minute time frame to speed things up. Yeah, I don't trade the 1 minute time frame. So you got more fake outs on the lower time frame, chat, the lower you go. So you got to stick to what you trade. All right, so longs here are looking pretty good, chat, so far. You got 2 minutes and 38 seconds left. Current 5 minute candle, right? You're getting a bullish reaction off of this support level. Do the bulls have enough energy to take us higher? We're going to try a long here, chat, and we'll see if we get the momentum kind of pumping to the upside towards 307 or higher. We're going to find out. Oh, man. It's already... All right, so yeah, sorry about that, guys. I thought I had it switched over. You gotta love it. So yeah, so there's the entry. Entry was 288. We're looking for trying to see if we can get back up here to these highs on a push. So let's see, right? Having a bit of a hard time, but you're trying to chase the momentum to the upside here, chat, at least for 10 points. 15-minute candle is bearish, but 5-minute chart looks like it has some structure kind of building up here. So got to give it a little bit of time. Let's see what happens. Can we get the push here to these highs sitting up here towards 340? Right, minimum want at least 10 points on the trade, but I don't want us to lose 27,278, chat, the 14 EMA. So if we lose that 14 EMA, then I'm gonna chop the trade. Need the push to happen to the upside for at least 10 points. Having some difficulty. 1 hour chart is just indecision going on, so that's not great. Right, long wick top and the bottom of the candle. We had the shorts earlier, guys. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like the pullback, chat. We already got a top wick already, right? And we had no bottom wick. So if it gets down here to 278, I'm going to scrap the trade. Not looking good. Getting real close to the stop. Wanted continuation there. Didn't get it, guys. So got stopped there. Less than 10 points. It is what it is. Not worried, right? So gave it a little bit of room. Wanted a reaction back to the upside. Had probably 6 points and got the pullback. What's interesting is that a lot of times when you get the rejection, guys, you don't get the setup you want. A lot of times you get a bearish reaction right back down, right? Pretty drastically. So interested to see how this plays out. So took a 10-point loss there on this account. We'll take it. Not worried about it. How many contracts are you trading? Yeah, typically 1 to 2 contracts. That was 1 contract. If it looks promising again, maybe I'll step back in, guys. Right? I didn't, because you're in that support. You're in the support technically again, right? You're bouncing out of the support level. That's the thing that's a little frustrating right now, is that we're bouncing right back up out of the support level. So let's see how it plays. Every trade's not going to print. We had a nice short earlier. And then you got a 10-point loser. Less than 10 points, to be honest, because you didn't even give it 10 points. Didn't want to get flushed on, so kept the loss tight. And we're getting close to that 3:50 time, chat. We got less than 7 minutes. Wanted the bounce, right? Tried to play the bounce for more upside. We did not get it. So your 15-minute chart looks a little heavy. So that's not good for longs, but 1 hour chart is having a battle. I mean, it's fugly, right? The 1 hour chart's fugly, chat. Long wick, top and the bottom. And the market could be getting ready for. We know we got MOC in the last 10 minutes, but we know we got some volatility that's gonna pop in. after 4 o'clock. Wick City, yeah. You just anticipated lower, higher lows and then an expansion out of this area. Since it was support the last time we were here. At 305. All right, another higher low, but no higher high. So we're just kind of ranging. But at least the price action is better than the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you that it's, I mean, guys, it's been pretty decent today overall. Right? The accounts are green. I got no complaints, to be honest, chat. Pretty good day. So I'm not, you know, I think it, yeah, I mean, I agree. We've seen way worse price action, to be honest. We've seen where we've chopped for 3 hours in a 40, 50 point range. So I'm not going to complain on a day like today. If you haven't already, guys, do me a solid, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Looks like we're hanging out at 990 likes, chat. So less than 10 likes to hit 1,000. Keep the streak alive of 3,000 plus likes combined between both streams. You gotta love it. Negative 780 in my PA because I tried to speculate whatever little guy was with glasses was gonna say. Yeah, I know that happens, and that's why it's, you got to be smart, Chad. I said it multiple times that, you know, there's nothing wrong with waiting for him to get done speaking. Or I've done it. I've been that trader, trying to pick the directional move. Right? Oh, the market's gonna go down when he starts speaking because, you know, for whatever reason, you kind of frame out in your head, and then it goes the opposite direction on you. I've been there. It literally happened to me, yeah. 10 years of trading, chat. You're gonna try a lot of stuff, right? You're gonna experiment. I'll say that. You're definitely gonna go through you're gonna experiment. So DMONEY, I give you props the most on your patience. You have mastered that better than most, myself included. Hey, I appreciate the kind words. I definitely try. Not perfect though, so. Trying to save today's eval with 1 micro. I got $49. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I mean, hey, YOLO, right? Use the code PW to reload, but you do have earnings coming up. You got crazy earnings coming up, chat, after the bell, right? You got Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Google, Chipotle, Ford. I mean, the list goes on and on, chat. eBay. So there's a lot of earnings today. Cheesecake Factory 415. I wonder how Cheesecake Factory's gonna how they're gonna report. How much money did you lose before you start winning? It took me 2 years to get to a payout, so. Oh man. So that's your answer. All right. You got less than a minute, chat. You got 22 seconds for MOC to kind of step in here. What direction? We dropped a poll earlier. We know the reaction in the poll. So here you go. Here's 2 seconds. There it is. Your MOC move so far to the downside. 27,262. No top wick. Very small top wick on the current 5-minute candle, chat. So you get back above 282, you could be looking at 27,330 level or higher. Kind of interesting that we have not flushed this box yet, right? This support box to the downside. If they're gonna flush it, get it over with. So we had shorts going into the press conference. Played out actually really well. One of the best trades of the day. And then got chopped for, I would say probably what, 8 points. Tried to take a long, got chopped for like 8 points. Was up, I think, 8 points, roughly 7 or 8 points. And that's been the session so far. So you get back above 280, 82 area. Could be looking for more upside, chat. Apex 90% off using the code. Get you the best deal at all the top props. You already know. What concepts do I use for trading? So yeah, it's probably your first time rocking out with us. Welcome to the stream. So I use momentum. I'm a momentum trader, so I'm looking for momentum in the market and leverage the EMAs as well for confluence and a bit of support and resistance off of like to trade off the 1 hour and 4 hour chart, try to align with that thought process, kind of bleeding into the lower time frame, right? So as an example right now, I mean, you got a nasty 4 hour chart. It is bullish though, right? But it's nasty. Long wick top and the bottom, but it is bullish. Current 1 hour candle is bearish. So there's a conflict on the time frames, right? So could kind of signal some chop, kind of back and forth action going on. And you got to be mindful that we got a ton of earnings coming up. So I would say continue to rock out with us. Hit the subscribe button. And you'll get notifications when we're live. You'll pick up pretty quickly on how I trade in PW. Because PW trades momentum as well. So there's no volume. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of jotted down. I mean, but we got to remember, though, chat, this could be, I mean, can it be expected, though, right? I mean, I think if, like I said, all right, we just got back above the box. Can we pop 296 and all of a sudden we're at 340 area? Possibility. Keep in mind, there's a lot of earnings coming up, chat. So that's, got to be mindful of that. So look out for, you know, is there going to be a bazooka here? Who knows? Going into the close. Up to 330 level or higher, chat. All right, there's 294. So bulls are trying to push pretty rapidly to the upside. Could not break the bottom of the box and close below it, chat. So that's bullish. What time frame? You can see it at the top of the screen. This is the 5-minute chart. So you also got the countdown timer right hand side of the screen. But yeah, this is the 5-minute chart. So you're looking for a pop here. Potentially the bulls get this going, chat. You're looking for these highs to get tested. 340. Which would be cray with Lil Ray Ray. Somebody's gonna say we didn't talk about the levels, but we did. So all right, 15-minute candles trying to push here, and that 1-hour candle still looks fugly. So gonna be a battle going into the close. All right, so this is the level that we're talking about, chat. Keep an eye out for these highs up here. $322 would be the first stop, guys, right? $322 would be the first level that they're gonna push. We get hit first, right? $322, bottom of that box. Kind of having a back and forth action. You got less than 4 minutes left. Market's waking up here to the upside, it seems. All right, there it is. 307. She rolling. 307, guys. Do you stay for earnings? I'm looking for the bazooka here, chat. There's 313. If you drop a W in the chat, if you took the trade there to the upside, guys, you got the pop. There it is. There it is. You gotta love it. All right, so what a crazy kind of setup here. What a crazy day, chat. Cray with Lil Ray Ray. Man. You gotta love it. Kind of felt the momentum building up to the upside. Took the longs. And you got less than 2 minutes left. So I had a chop trade that basically went nowhere. 10-point loser. but ended up obviously making it back. So you gotta love it. And I do feel, like I said, guys, that this level is gonna get hit. There it is, right? So there's your box. So if you held, you picked up more points. What a crazy day, chat. There it is, 27,328. She gone. She gone. She gone. There it is, 27,338 to the upside, chat. Cray with Lil Ray Ray. Nice pump. And you got crazy expansion here going into the close. Look at that. That was 362. Drop the W's in the chat if you took the longs, you got paid. You definitely got paid. Do me a solid if you haven't already, guys. Come on, man. Hit the like button, guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, we rock out Monday through Friday, no later than 9 a.m. trying to make a little money. You gotta love it. Somebody said it's gonna dump now. Yeah, I'm not concerned about it. I'm not concerned if it dumps now. I took the longs and got paid. I'm not worried. This is the afternoon session, chat. We had a really good morning, and we rocked it out as well this afternoon. And you do have a sell-off kind of happening here because of earnings. So the fireworks are continuing here. Volatility, keep in mind, you had some earnings here at 4 o'clock, guys. You got earnings coming up at 4:05 as well. So there's going to be a lot of volatility, back and forth action in the market. Make no mistake about it, chat. Got out in the nick of time if you took it on the pop of the gray box I had drawn out, because you got a pretty massive sell-off to the downside, retracement. You gotta love it. All right, so whipsaw action, guys, to be expected. Be safe. You just had a reaction from 27,235 right back to 300. This is a count blower time. Use the code PW if you're not being disciplined. I hate to say it, but you're gonna get some volatility here, chat. Make no mistake about it. 405 as well. She gone. She going to the upside, chat. Cray with Lil Ray Ray. The party's just getting started. You got more earnings coming up at 4:05. You got Google, Meta, Amazon, Chipotle. They're all reporting today, chat. Everybody's reporting. Oh, man. We told you it was going to be a party, chat. When we saw the earnings, people were upset. Somebody was upset in the chat because we were watching the Fed speak. But guess what? We knew there was a lot of fireworks to come after the meeting. Make no mistake about it. All right, so yeah, I would say trend carefully here, chat. You got about 18 seconds. You got more earnings coming out, so I know that there's some degens in the chat, but rest assured, you're gonna get the volatility you've been waiting for. Make no mistake about it. Crazy looking 5-minute candle, guys. Look at the 5-minute candle. Look at the bottom wick. I mean, that is just, that's an account killer if I've ever seen one. Let's measure this out. So you got, yeah, that's a 100 point bottom wick on the 5-minute candle. Current candle doesn't have a top wick, so that's a little strange. A lot of volatility right now, chat. A lot of volatility in the market. Oh man, what a crazy day, chat. Not gonna lie. Push right back up. As you would expect. Well, do me a solid, guys. If you haven't already, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Cray Cray with Little Ray Ray today. I think it definitely qualifies as a Cray Cray with Little Ray Ray day. Let me just pull this up, guys. Give me a second. Well, I think the market lived up to the expectations, guys. You got 2000, 1620, and 1550. So we'll let it. What a day! What a crazy day, guys, with this price action. I mean, definitely Cray Cray with Lil Ray Ray. 50K lucid accounts, guys. 40% off using the code PW. No consistency rule in the funded. Don't have to worry about it. I gotta say this, chat. While it's like heavy on my mind, I gotta say this to you guys. I appreciate the support, chat. You know, yeah, every once in a while, I know you guys get a little crazy and people start to feel a little free when there's a couple good trades being put on, but you know, they get a little wild and free. But without you guys, there's no us. There's no BDH, chat. I recognize that. I don't take it for granted. I know PW recognizes that as well. So there's no us without you, chat. I mean that 100%. So I'm appreciative of being accepted as part of the BDH. Everybody's not going to be a fan of DMONEY. I'm aware of that, guys. We're dealing with social media and people have an opinion and they're going to have their preference. But, you know, for the most part, I've been greatly accepted by the BDH fam. So I appreciate the support, guys. I don't take it for granted. Am I going to cry? I'm going to hold it in. I got a tear starting to... I got a tear that's starting to get to the eyelid that I got to try to hold back, chat. So, oh man. So, but what I will say is that pretty good day today, chat, right? I mean, hey, we got to take what we can get in this kind of market. I think pretty banging stream, if I may say so myself. Felt like the analysis was pretty good, and I took some pretty good setups. So got chopped on a few trades, but that happens. So not concerned at all, guys. Tomorrow we'll rock out again. 9 a.m. Trying to make a little monies. You already know. You know the vibes. What news? Yeah, you can check out onlypropfirms.com. Onlypropfirms.com has the news releases. Don't you worry. We got you covered. So if you go to PropFirm, if you go to the resources here, resource tab, you got a couple different options, guys. You got market analysis, you got trading tools, right? That's you got Trade prop that we use, right? And if you go to market analysis, you got the news. We got you covered, don't you worry. Obviously, you're able to also compare the top props. You can see at the top of the screen, might be a little cut off there. Apex 90% off using the code PW. You can head on over to the merchandise as well. You got PW's Pokemon his Pikachu shirt. Just trying to make a little money. That's on the site, chat. We get a lot of requests for that. That boy good. And then unfortunately you got Jerome's shirt there. I don't know how that keeps happening, but this guy's shirt is on the site, so you gotta love it. All the BDH merchandise is there. Why not? More downside stepping in here, 27,184. Cray with little Ray day. We're not worried, chat. We're not worried. You better not wear that orange shirt. You're gonna be in trouble with your bub. Yeah, I'm not wearing the orange shirt. So as promised, chat, a lot of volatility in the market here. Pops and drops and everything in between. So More downside there. Wow. This is gone, chat. This is gone to the downside. It's always interesting. There is your opening range. Candle low got taken. There it is. 27,109 now. Market clearly was waiting today for these earnings and FOMC to be over with, chat. You're getting the volatility of a lifetime right now. So wait for the upside back in the Asian session. Yeah, I won't be there for it. Right? I mean, you gotta pick your spots, chat, and especially like in the days that I'm going 5 hours plus 5.5, whatever it is. You need a break. You need to be mentally sharp. So I'm not gonna trade tonight. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. So if you haven't already, guys, do me a solid, hit the like button on the way out. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you're missing out. We rock out Monday through Friday, no later than 9 a.m. You got PW headed to Cali. He'll be back next week, chat. Rocking out the mornings. I'll be rocking out 12 to 4. We got you covered AM and the PM. CED money on the London session. Yeah, I know, right? Well, that's all she wrote, chat. I'm going to call it. I will see you tomorrow. (9 a.m.) If you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Look like a meme coin rug. Yeah, that's because of all the earnings. It's crazy. So you got to be mindful of that. So, but we'll call it here, chat. We'll be back tomorrow. Really good session today. Both sessions, actually, to be honest, right? AM and the PM. So tomorrow we'll try to do it again. Hopefully we'll get some volatility in the market, directional moves. Now that the speech, Powell's speech, is over with. We know Feds did not cut, and we'll see what we can get. So until then, stay safe, chat. We gone.